For the whole community, you build an ashram. You must live a better life than your father or your grandfather. Don't build a home for yourself. Build an ashram for everybody else.
Namaste, good evening, good morning, and great afternoon to all of you. A warm welcome to Saturday Masterclass. So, hope you're all aware of meditation. If anyone is joining new, the meditation what we are practicing is Anapanasati. So now, now we meditate and then we will get into our topic, today's topic of the four inner instruments. Okay, so please close your eyes. Clasp your hands, cross your legs, and observe your natural breath as shown in the picture. You can sit comfortably in the sofa, or if you are comfortable, you can sit on the floor. Close your eyes and observe your natural, normal breath. So don't force, let the thoughts come and go. Bring back your attention to the breath. Let's get into the meditation.
Dear friends, dear masters, with your specs removed, eyes closed, with your hands on your chest area, resting your attention on your heart center. Connect with your beautiful heart. With your attention on your heart center, with a slow, long, relaxing breath, can you feel your beautiful heart? Feel the seed of all emotions. Nurturing all life. With its energies of love, compassion, gratitude. Can you recollect an experience from your past? Or from the vision of your future, where you feel enormous love, joy, gratitude? or simply bring up an experience in the present, smelling a flower, playing in water, taking a walk in nature, helping somebody in need. Imagine and bring up that moment and feel that energy. Relive that moment and feel that energy. And allow yourself to spread that energy onto everything and everyone on this planet, or to someone who is in need, to help them heal, to help them elevate themselves. Where your attention goes, there your energy flows. We're all deeply interconnected. And slowly, let's go into breath mindfulness meditation. With your fingers into fingers, hands comfortably rested in your lap. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. Observe your normal, natural in-breath and the out-breath. We are in a powerful group meditation, harnessing the energies of the group. when you observe your breath, your mind slowly becomes empty. As the mind is becoming less and less of thought, calmer and calmer, allow yourself to experience that greater calmness inside of you, emptiness all around you. Your breath. Allow yourself to merge into your breath and allow yourself to experience emptiness, that calmness. all emptiness is energy. This is the quantum field of energy. The field of limitless possibilities. The longer you stay connected to this emptiness, blackness of no body, of no thing, the more experiences you draw into your life. It is natural to have thought. When you recognize you are in thought, go back to observing your breath and allow yourself to slowly go into that emptiness, that field of light. We are less matter, more emptiness and energy. The longer we stay in the empty states of mind, the more you transcend your body. You go beyond matter. You experience emptiness and energy. Relax, dear friends. You planted seeds of possibilities. You primed your subconscious. Recognize that whatever you emotionally embrace is manifesting into your physicality. Be grateful for this opportunity to create. Be grateful for to everything and everyone who will help you to create this future. Your gratitude to your parents, teachers, mentors, family, friends, everyone in your life. To this grand nature, the bird, the fish, and the animals, to technology, all systems, governments, companies, to yourself, and to this intelligent quantum field for helping us experience, helping us create a new life. Gratitude moves us into coherence and helps us draw and create more. Recollect your experiences from the session. How did you feel? What have you experienced? Whenever you're ready, you can keep your hands on your eyes for 5 seconds and then you may open your eyes.
Ma'am, you are mute.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, welcome back, friends. Hope you all had a great meditation. If possible, I request you all to turn on your videos, please. Sai, can we see them? Okay, friends, we'll go ahead with that. First of all, I would like to begin by expressing my immense gratitude to my beloved Guru, Sri Krishna Kumar of Self Analysis Institute and Chandra CEO, Patriji, and all revered gurus who have guided me on my spiritual path. Friends, I started my meditation journey during 1990s, and one of the first and most significant benefit what I experienced was the development of self-confidence. And within few weeks of meditation practice, I naturally became a vegetarian. And I learned meditation is transformation. Like we have to transform as a better self every moment. And my mentor taught us that nature is our guru guide, and we have to identify and respect the nature in action. That is all the five elements teaches us silently many things. So during 2012, my Guruji vacated his body, and I happened to relocate to Bangalore. After relocating to Bangalore, I lost that association of Sajjana Sangatya and those group meditations. So I'm the best example that Sajjana Sangatya is very, very important, friends. Even after meditating for such long years, when I lost the touch of Sajjana Sangatya, my meditation practice, that intensity is gone, actually, I can say. I used to just meditate for few minutes, but when I decided, like, to get back to my original practice and meditate intently, then like Buddha Seva came as a blessing in my life during COVID time through my cousin Shanti Priya. I'm ever grateful to her. And I joined the first 40 days session, and I truly enjoyed the group meditation and the wisdom shared during the sessions. Like soon after completing the program, I immediately became a facilitator for the sessions that we conducted for a corporate batch at Cognizant. I really enjoyed this journey. And during that period, I was suffering from hormonal imbalance. Like I'm deeply grateful to Vani ma'am. She suggested me to, do long meditation at Pyramid Valley, Bengaluru. So I spent 21 days over there meditating and reading books. That brought a great shift in my life, I can say. Like I realized that hormonal imbalance is nothing but when we are not accepting ourselves, and the stress is nothing but the gap between our reality and our expectation. So the wider the gap, the greater the stress. So I understood that the situation, and when I started accepting myself, I came out of that hormonal imbalance issue. And after coming to Buddha Seva, I started reading, all the books. The book which inspired me or made me to think was the Surrender Experiment. I really love that so much because the inner voice, the author talked about that inner talk. So I realized like what is going on as a self-talk, how much, we talk to ourselves. Then I realized that, and, I controlled my self-talk, and no matter how busy the author, kept meditating and doing his sadhana. He never, left a single day without meditating. That really inspired, and he started doing whatever was uncomfortable for him. That I tried to implement in my life. And after coming here, one concept which truly challenged me was the idea of people around us are mirrors of our own inner state. It was really difficult to digest it too, as most of us, tend to blame others for our problems, right? I'm so I understood, and I'm consciously working on this aspect. I'm truly grateful for this wonderful platform that made me to realize like what's happening in my head, and how I'm only attracting, like, thoughts create our own reality. So everything is so very like practically we can implement in our day-to-day life, and I'm truly grateful for this knowledge shared by Buddha CEO Quantum Foundation. And I believe, like, when we serve selflessly, the focus shifts from me to we, and our ego also slowly dissolves, and the humility naturally grows. Like in service, our mind becomes quieter because it is engaged in something meaningful beyond our personal desires. Friends, coming to the and also service strengthens our spiritual growth. Well, I always say that the spirituality without doing service is incomplete. That is my personal experience. Like one should get into the service. then we understand more and more of ourselves. And today's topic is very, very, dear to me. That is the four inner instruments. Like on this platform, like we're always listening about the mind, subconscious mind, and all that, like how it is impacting and all, right? So today I would like to share a few concepts about the mind. Okay. So, Western psychology often, speaks just the mind as a single, what should I say, as a just the mind as a single one thing, right? But the Vedic seers recognize that mind has different functions that must be understood separately. That is. This is not actually modern invention or something. It is a time-tested wisdom from our sages who spent their life studying the nature of the mind. Even comes from Vedantic traditions, and this concept is also referenced in Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, and Upanishads. So, when we come to the what is the different functions of mind that are Vedic, like seers and all practiced and implemented, was they always talked about Antahkarana Chatushtaya. Maybe you all would have heard about this. Those who have a little bit of Sanskrit knowledge, they would have heard about this Antahkarana Chatushtaya, right? Antah means inner, right? Karana is instrument. There are tools. So Chatushtaya is group of four. Group of four. That means Antahkarana Chatushtaya is the inner instruments. That is a four. What are these four inner instruments? Can anybody tell this? Um, I think Sai, can you please give the participant to give an option to unmute themselves, please? I just want this to be more interactive. Video enable option not available, Srinivas Sale. Uh, Sai or okay, friends, I think if you can, I don't have video option is not available. They're saying, Sai, are you available to give an option? Okay, fine. I think let me see if I can give. One moment, friends. No. No, even I don't have option. Okay, let's go with this. Um, I'll leave the message, then we'll see. Okay, friends, we'll go with our topic. So, coming to the so Antakarna Chatusha, the group of four, what we are talking about is the mind is not single one, as our Western psychology, always talks about it. It is four components, that is Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara. So, uh, let's understand this concept with a small simple analogy. Uh, there was a master potter lived in a village in Rajasthan, and his name was Govindji. See, this master potter Govindji was famous throughout that region, and each piece was perfectly carved by him and beautifully designed, incredibly strong. Everyone like used to appreciate him for his unique designs and his mastery over the art. So, listening about this master potter, one student approaches him by name Ramesh, And he asked that Guruji, please teach me how do you make such wonderful and perfect pottery. Then Govindji, this Guruji smiles and he takes him to his workshop and he showed him four things. What are those four things in the workshop? Were the clay, the wheel, the workshop, and the signature. He shows all these four things. The first, like holding the raw material, that lump of wet earth, he says, this is the raw material. It can become anything: a water pot, a lamp, a sculpture, or by itself, it is just reactive material, but it takes the shape of whatever presses upon it. That means that impressions, whatever we make it, it gives us. So this is the raw material. Coming to pointing out to the wheel there, he says this is the instrument of discrimination. Like it helps me to decide should this clay become water pot or flower vase. So I can decide. So the wheel gives me the options and helps me to choose the best form of it. So then he asked me to look around his workshop and he says that this room is completely filled with memories, like his father's tools, his grandfather's designs, countless pots that had taught him through success and failure. Like when we make a pot, like he would have done half and left it, and some are incomplete, some are beautiful, and all that. So his workshop is it's full of memories of all these things. So he says, this space holds everything I have learned, each and every technique, every mistake, every triumph, all stored here, he says. Then Ramesh asks, like, then what about you? Where do you fit in all this? You're telling about the raw material and wheel and this workshop, memories, designs, father tools, and where do you fit in this? He says he picks up one finished product and shows Ramesh's signature mark at the bottom, like a small lotus symbol. He says, this is my identity, my sense of, like, I am the potter. This is my identity, he says. Like, without this sense of self, I would not create it and I would not have no motivation, no pride in my work. Without this signature, like me, that is identity. And no signature to put on my creation. But I must be careful. Suppose if I'm giving too much of importance to my ego, it becomes too big. If my ego becomes too big, I stop learning, and if it becomes too small, I stop creating. This is right now, friends. If we know that we know everything, and we stop learning, and we start feeling great and all. At the same time, if belittle our own self, and then we stop attempting to do things, right? Then he says, I stop creating. So it must be balanced. That's what he says. That means the clay, the receiving material, wheel is the instrument of decision, and the workshop is the storehouse of memory and learning. And Potter's signature is nothing but the sense of identity. So where the same thing applies for our human mind as well. We are not just one thing. That is not mind. We are not just one thing. Like we are four things. There are four things working together. The ancient rishis called this as Antakarana Chatushtaya. Just as a master potter uses all the four elements to create a beautiful pottery, we use all these four instruments to navigate in our life. Like in every day, in every situation, we see all these four components in every situation. So, friends, let us understand by one what is the nature of this each component. The first one is the manas. Like, what is manas? Often people translate this as a mind, right? But this translation is incomplete. Like, manas is part of our inner apparatus. Okay, it receives inputs from the five senses. What are the five senses? Shabda, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, Sparsha, right? Shabda is sight, sound, smell, taste, touch. These are the five senses, right? So our manas receives inputs from all these five senses. Like when it receives, it creates the initial impressions and reactions. When it receives the inputs from the sensory thing, it creates the impressions and questions. It wonders and doubts and questions. One. It generates thoughts continuously. We know, right? Like our manas is completely, it is a generator of thoughts. It generates too many thoughts and it doubts and it creates and it jumps, right? So, what is the nature of manas? We all know manas is, restless. Like it jumps like a monkey jumping from one branch to another. We know that our manas jumps from one thought to another, right? Like it cannot stay still. This is the nature of manas, that is restless. And it is doubting, should I do this or that? Is this wrong or right? Like what will happen? All these things, like, it raises constantly questions without resolving them, right? We don't, the manas doesn't look for any solutions. Mm, constantly raises something or other. Like it is reactive as well. Like it immediately, it likes or dislikes based on sensory input, whatever it is receiving, the taste or the smell or whatever the receive based on the sensory input, it creates likes and dislikes, right? If you see something beautiful, instant attraction, and if you smell something bad, instant aversion, right? All this is the nature of the manas. This is reactive. And also manas is connected to desires. How I want this, I need that. Like manas is seat of desires and cravings, that drives most of our human behavior, right? So let's take an example of the daily life. Like we all know that we all set our alarms, right? So when our alarm rings, what happens? Manas immediately tells what it is receives. We learned that it receives information from the sensory organs, right? So the sensory input here is what the ringtone, the sound comes, right? It receives the sound. Then the manas is reactive. We learned reactive means it feels annoyance, like listening to that sound, and want creates desire for more sleep and doubts, should I get up or sleep more. So this is what our manas. Like one more example, if we take one more, our favorite example is the moment we open our phone, like Insta or Facebook or any social media, we see the images, videos. That is a sensory input, right? Images and sound and seeing and all that, right? So we feel attracted to some posts and dislike to others and so many reactions, right? And want to keep scrolling like that. It decides, like we just touch our phone just for we think that okay, 5 minutes, let me look at these things, but hours together means together will pass, right? So jumps from one post to another, like we thought it is restlessly, right? So this is the nature of the manas. Like how a imbalanced manas looks like is when our manas is overactive or imbalanced, what happens? I really want you people to be interactive, but we don't have the option to. Is it possible for you guys to raise the hands?
Yes, ma'am. They can raise the hands, then we can unmute themselves.
Okay. They don't have the option to unmute themselves.
No, ma'am.
Okay,
They
fine.
raise the hand, then we'll.
Sure. Okay, if anybody wants to, answer, you please kindly raise your hands so that. So what happens when our like we have been meditating and listening to so much of knowledge shared by Chandra sir in all our sessions, right? We learned so much about the manas and its nature. What happens for the if our manas is imbalanced, overactive? What happens? So constant mental chatter, right? Inability to focus on anything and easily distracted. Mood swings, like based on the sensory inputs. Anxiety, restlessness, addiction to stimulation, phone, TV, and food, and all these things. Like these are the sensory inputs. So how to balance this fine now? How to balance? Can anybody tell? How do we balance our mind? Okay. So we know the best thing is meditation to calm the restless mind. That is what we are all doing, right? So pranayama, breathing exercise, this also helps us to balance our mind. And one more thing is the observation, that like sakshi bhuta, like observing thoughts without, reacting. And we have to reduce sensory overload, like limiting, we should limit the phone and media. So this is how we can balance our manas. So coming to our second instrument, buddhi. Buddhi is what? Discriminating intellect. Like buddhi, we all know that it makes decisions and judgments and discriminates between right and wrong and determines truth from falsehood and analyzes and reasons. Right, gives direction to action. This is about the our second instrument, buddhi. So the nature of buddhi is what? It is decisive. Unlike doubting manas, buddhi makes firm decision. In case of manas, it keeps on doubting, but without looking for a solution. But when it comes to the buddhi, buddhi is decisive. Like it makes firm decision. Like buddhi is discriminating as well. Like it separates real from the unreal and beneficial from the harmful and true from the false. This is discriminating. And but when our buddhi can be clear or overclouded too, right? Like when it is clear, it makes wise decisions. But when clouded by what? Emotions and fatigue and bias and all these things, it makes poor decisions. But when buddhi charity happens, like we all know that we all heard this on many platforms, like body is a chariot and senses are the horses and manas is the reins and buddhi is a charioteer, right? So the charioteer is the buddhi must guide the horses, that is the senses, using the reins. Reins is what? Manas, to reach the destination safely. This is what. So when buddhi is imbalanced, what happens? We find it difficult. Buddhi is imbalanced. What? Buddhi is when it is weak or clouded by what? All the emotions. We find it very difficult to take any decision. Poor judgments and easily manipulated by others. Unable to resist temptation, right? And confusion about right or wrong. Similarly, when it is overloaded and rigid, what happens? Overly rigid, what happens? Unable to adapt to the situations. And judgment of self and others. And ignores intuition and feelings. We always ignore our intuition and feelings. So our meditation is helping us to connect to and connect to that intuition and feelings. This is the imbalance. This is what happens. So the third instrument is chitta. Chitta is what? Chitta we all know, we all know very well, right? In our Buddha Sevo sessions, we talk about subconscious mind. Chitta is nothing but subconscious mind. So subconscious mind is the storehouse, right? Like we learned that 90% of our life is operated by the subconscious programming, and because it stores consciously unconsciously all the memories, like it holds impressions, like that is the samskaras, and these experience contains our habitual patterns, like it it will have all that emotional whatever we feel so intently, like so intensely, that creates an impression and that gets stored in our subconscious mind. So the nature of subconscious mind is what? It's like a deep, like a ocean. We saw that iceberg, right? So 90% of our life is operated with the subconscious programming. And so Chandra sir always like he talks about that limiting beliefs. All the limiting beliefs are stored in chitta. Like every experience every experience leaves an impression, like samskara. It is stored in chitta. Okay. Chitta, we all know that chitta is influencing our present behavior, like our stored impressions shape us, like how we react today. Like a childhood trauma in chitta can affect adult relationships. For example, if we see a person, immediately it brings us a memory. If we see one lady, it brings us a memory that, oh, you look like our auntie, like that we tell. So that is coming from what? It is coming from our subconscious, like chitta. And what chitta brings? The memories associated with that person. Okay, if you have a good relationship with that auntie or uncle, it brings a good positive feelings. If you're having a bad, like not uncomfortable relationship, it brings those impression, like. So So our chitta brings all those impressions, like samskaras are nothing but impressions. Like every experience leaves an impression in chitta. Like repeatedly, if you are experiencing something deeper, it forms an impression. Like suppose a child is bitten by a dog once. Now even after 30 years, the adult still feels that fear around the dogs. Like we all experience this in our day-to-day life, right? So like vasanas are what? Tendencies or habits. Like when samskaras are repeated, they become vasanas. Uh, like uh, like when a person repeatedly experience something, then that develops a vasana, and that is what happens is, if a person repeatedly experiences rejection, he develops a vasana of avoiding the intimacy. So chitta holds all these things. So coming to the how chitta imbalance, like when chitta is imbalanced, what happens? Like we will carry all those that unprocessed traumas, that childhood traumas, and negative thought patterns and phobias, and these limiting beliefs. Like when chitta is imbalanced, limiting beliefs like I'm not good enough, I can't do this, and addiction patterns, difficulty moving past world hurts, all these things are the symbols of our imbalanced chitta. Now how do we balance our chitta? So we can balance our chitta by meditation. Like when our mind is calm, like uh, like when the lake is calm, so we will be able to see the everything, right? Likewise, when our mind is calm, the surface we will be able to see deeper, and we understand like what is creating, and we will able to understand and come out of those problems. And journaling also helps, like it brings unconscious to the unconscious to the conscious mind when we journal the things, and it gives us a lot of clarity. And regression therapies, like we in regression therapies, we revisit our past and those traumas, and we release them, all the old samskars we can erase, and we can create a beautiful thing, and we'll come out of it. Like EFT techniques, you all would have heard about, emotional freedom techniques and other energy techniques we can use to come out of these things. And forgiveness practices, forgiving ourselves and forgiving others. This is what is our third chitta component. And the fourth component is ahankara. So we all think that ahankara is very bad, right? We heard in that Govindji thing, he says that ahankara is very, very important because it should be balanced. Only thing is, the ego arises, like the faculty that creates the sense of individual identity, right? And self-image, self-concept, these are all very, very important, right? Ahankara is not bad. Only thing is it should be balanced. And the ownership also a person takes when he has that ego or I sense, right? And the experience of being a separate self is ahankara actually. So the nature of ahankara is what? Ahankara creates identification. Ahankara can be healthy or unhealthy. Ahankara is necessary but limiting. So, what do you mean by ahankara creates identification? See, I'm a teacher, I'm successful, I'm victim. These identification, like whatever you are giving to yourself, it shapes our entire life experience. So, a healthy ahankara gives us confidence and purpose, and unhealthy ahankara creates suffering. And the depression also, what I feel, it is unhealthy ahankara only. And ahankara is necessary but limiting. Like we need to function in the world, but like as we heard in that Govindji case, ahankara is motivating, that self importance is motivating him to create more and more. Right. So sometimes if it is over means it is limiting us to experience life. So we can say that there are three states of ahankara. One is inflated. Inflated is what I am better than others, and that is superiority complex. Like it creates arrogance, inability to receive feedback. Okay, they won't receive any feedback. They think that they are superior to others. compared to the second state is deflated. Here people think that I'm worse than others, and inferiority complex here. Because of this inferiority complex, what happens? We feel low self-esteem and self-criticism. We criticize our own self, victim mentality, fear of being seen, all that. The third state is balanced. I am who I am. Like it is me, like realistic self view. Like once we understand what we are, then only we can try to improve ourselves, right? Basically, see our own self. We are neither above nor below. We just accept ourselves as we are. So that means that is healthy self-esteem. This is the confidence without arrogance, and this is openness to the growth. So understanding, like balancing ahankara, how do we balance our ahankara? Like ahankara balance, how can we do it? Through self-inquiry, like who am I beyond my roles and stories, right? And practicing both humility and self-compassion. And ego strengthening exercises. What are the ego strengthening exercises? Like reality testing, competence building, like sometimes we take up so many things and we end up not doing anything. We criticize our own self. Like this is here we have to bring to strengthen our ego. What we should do, we should have the self validation. Take up small things, one small thing task daily, and if we're able to finish it, we feel so confident, right? So these are the ego strengthening exercise, like boundary setting, reality testing, and competency building, and all these things are. While dissolving practices are what here, self inquiry and surrendering, and think for a pause for a while before you speak or before you react. So instead of reacting, like we how we can respond and all these things are self inquiry. When you're doing the self inquiry, automatically your ego dissolves. And one more, the best thing is getting into the service mode. Like when you surrender yourself, and when you get into the service mode, naturally your ego dissolves. Like now, let us see how all these four inner instruments work together. Let us see with a small example. Like, for example, if you are driving and someone, cuts you off, what happens? Let us see in all these four inner components. The first one is manas. So manas nature is what it is. It receives the inputs and it reacts, right? And so it sees the car cutting, like it is excessive input, right? It feels instant anger. That means reacts. It reacts, right? The anger comes. That means we are reacting, and it creates a desire to honk. We learned that manas creates desires of liking and unlikes, likes and dislikes, right? So it creates a desire to honk or yell. Like it also doubts. Manas nature is doubting, right? Should I respond? It questions itself, right? So the second component is chitta. When we take chitta, it pulls up the memory of the past similar incident. What happens? It activates immediately the stored pattern about bad drivers, and triggers any related emotional baggage. If you had any bad experience, it brings up that onto the surface. Then now buddhi comes into the picture. It analyzes, is this dangerous or just annoying? Is this he's cutting off? So is this dangerous, or is it just annoying me? It tries to discriminate and analyze. So will honking help or escalate? It decides. I will stay calm and keep distance. We know that buddhi, when it is imbalanced, it takes some kind of thing. When it is clouded with emotions, it takes a different decision. So we need to see, like, what is our state of mind that time. Then comes to the ahankara. What is, if it is inflated, what happens? How dare they, disrespect me? It is the inflated. Deflated means everyone always takes advantage of me. And balanced means what happens? This is not about me. They are just in a hurry. That's why they cut and go. Friends, in each and every life situation, like how we have talked about this driving one small incident, all these four comes into the play. So only thing is when we start identifying in our day-to-day life and spiritually, our growth also will be in a much more faster pace, I can say. When I learned about this, we have been listening about these topics like Antakarana Chatustaya, but I never paid so much of attention. But when I came to know about each component, I started experimenting in my day-to-day life. Like in office, some situation happens, what am I operating with ego? Or some past memory is coming? Or am I reactive, reflective, or all these things? Like I'm able to identify, and it is really, it's a fun actually doing this exercise. So friends, I would like to now listen from you people, before going into the practical how we can implement it. I would like to listen from you guys. Can you raise your hand? Can you share your experience? KoLG.
Hello, ma'am. Are you able to listen me?
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, last point you said, can you repeat like ahankara, one is inflated and another is deflated, right?
Ahankara, inflated,
Any
deflated, and balanced ahankara.
balanced, and any other, I mean, only two categories is there.
Three are there, no, ma'am.
Last one I missed.
Inflated is one, that is I'm better than others. That is superiority complex.
No, that
Inflated
I
is.
understood. That I understood and deflated, and the last one is
Last
what
one
I
is
missed.
balanced, ma'am. I am
Okay,
who I
okay.
am. Like we are accepting our own self. That is realistic self view. Neither above nor below.
And ma'am, as you are sharing your experience, I also want to share my experience. I never felt that inflated one, but in my life, but the deflated one is there. But now it gradually comes to the balance one. As you shared your driving experience, and that time, I also think like. I keep myself to other person position, and I try to think like that. Maybe the person has some other issue in their mental health also, because we all an individual, and we our everyone's stories is very different from others. So in that way, I'm trying to think like that always. So now you can say, now turning to that, going through that balanced one. Is this the example?
Yeah, great. Yeah, true, ma'am. That is what. Because with meditation, we always, the self inquiry is more. Like, am I with what is that operating? Am I operating from the fear, or emotionally, or inflated, deflated, or ego is playing, or all that? We are able to distinguish and discriminate and implement. That is what
Yes,
is
ma'am.
happening.
And yes, ma'am. And in practical life, day to day life, sometimes I felt like it is not coming instantly. That time I just need to pause for a second or 30 second. Then after that, I can able to do, because first maybe the inflated one coming in my mind, and after that, just when I keep pause for a 30 second only, then I can
Yes.
convert to into that balanced one. It is happening right now.
100%. Even when you
Then I
respond to email, also in the office, sometimes, even though we are right, we don't need to respond. If you just wait for a while, we'll be able to respond, in a positive tone, right?
Right, ma'am, because we all are private employee, not a government employee as well. So private sector, it is really happening. Sometimes the another reply is coming in my mind, but I'm not
Yes.
able to write. I mean, in that way, it is really a practical example.
This
Thank
is
you,
what
ma'am.
I
And
experienced because instantly, if we give no, though we are right, but the
yes,
tone is something differently it comes. But if we
yes,
just think for a
yes.
while, we'll be able to communicate in a much, positive way.
Yes, ma'am, and very nice session, and you explain it very nicely. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you, Koil. So, how do we practice this in our day-to-day life? Hmm. Let me share. One. Can I get the option to share? Not turned on. Okay, fine. I'll just read out. So, how do we practice this? This is really fun, practicing this in our day-to-day life. Like today, let me just list down like today's key learnings are we have four inner instruments and they are Antakarna Chatusha, Manas, Buddhi, Chitta, and Ahankara. Like Manas is receives and reacts. It's a sensory input, and Buddhi designs and discriminates. Chitta stores and patterns, and Ahankara is the one identifies and personalizes. So all the four work together. Like every experience flows through all four instruments. As I gave you that driving experience, you only just try to bring this into your day-to-day conversations or day-to-day things. You'll be able to start identifying like where my manas is reactive, where the my buddhi is reactive. So you can ask questions, like you can practice. One thing is like every day you can set time for yourself for 15 minutes and you can sit quietly and observe. Like even after meditation you can quietly observe, like when manas jumps from thought to thought, when buddhi makes a judgment or decision, when chitta pulls up memory or pattern, and when ahankara says I or mine. Just observe, don't try to change anything. Just do this self observation for need not be 15 minutes, just 5 minutes. You start with it, 5 minutes is enough actually. You can do that. And one more practice we can do is each evening just write down, like today my manas was, is it calm or restless or reactive? Like in every situation it is not same, right? In some situations we are calm, sometimes it is restless, though we don't express, sometimes we feel so restless, right? Or it is like reactive. And write down, today my buddhi was clearer, confused, or rigid. And coming to the chitta also, you bring like what memories or patterns are coming, surfacing. Like this observation really helps us to identify our unwanted, patterns that we are holding, like the some of the memories. And we can, like Chandra sir gives us that list of limiting beliefs, right? There we can identify, like the same thing, same practice. Like chitta brings out some belief system about ourselves, right? Those patterns we can identify in this situation. Okay, this came up, that came up, and all. And coming to the ahankara, today my ahankara felt, uh, have you felt confident or insecure or defensive? This we can start writing if possible. You can take once in 2 hours. You can just have that self reflection, or half a day, or at least at the end of the day we should be able to, you can bring back the memories and you can just identify in the situation, whether my mind is so manas is overactive or buddhi overactive or ahankara is overactive. And the same thing we can do the exercise for notice in others. Observe people around you, like try to identify like who has an overactive manas and who has a strong weak buddhi, and who seems burdened by chitta patterns, and who has inflated or deflected ahankara. Friends, when we start identify these things, like we don't feel bad about others. Okay, he's he's burdened with overactive manas, or he seems to be burdened by chitta patterns, ahankara pattern. When we start labeling, because we are concentrating and understanding the pattern of the this antakana chatushtaya. When we start identifying, we don't label a person. We just label the, oh, this component is overpowering, this component is this. So our concentration is on that, not on the person. So this is a fun exercise. I recommend you all to do this and enjoy. And I thank you all for joining. If you, I would like to, yeah, Suhas.
Hello.
Yes, Suhasji, please go ahead.
Hello, madam. First of all, thank you to you. I'm very
Yeah,
thankful to you for such a nice guidance and for such a nice lecture. But what I want to tell you that I think many of ladies, office going or housewives, they follow all this in their daily routine while dealing with their housemates. See, sometimes the housemaid does so many things wrong. And every time Manas gets reacted, why, what she's doing? She's not listening to my instructions and all. But then Chitta, she says, observe all this. No, if I means Buddhi thinks, no, if I will shout on her or otherwise, she will may leave. Then it will be my loss. So I won't get any lady at this time. So I have to handle with her care. And Buddhi take decision in spite of all his misdeeds, talk softly with the housemaid. That I think 90% lady follow this without knowing all this knowledge.
yes,
We lady follow this in our daily routine.
correct.
Don't you think so?
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes. Yes, we follow. With more, with the meditation practice, more of this awareness is building more and more.
yeah,
And really, automatically, like without knowing that we are following this Antakarna Chatustaya,
yeah,
we are following all that.
yeah,
But knowing that component of these things, sometimes it helps us. Oh, I'm anxious. Is it inflated, deflated, or something? Why I'm feeling anxious? Why my manas is jumping more and more?
yeah,
So
yeah.
labeling, yeah, ma'am.
I mean, balancing all this means is this equal to diplomacy?
It is not at all
Dip-
diplomacy. Not at all
no.
diplomacy. We are becoming a true human being. It is not
Yes.
diplomacy. We are not.
Okay.
We are trying to be
Hmm.
a normal, natural beings.
Achha. Okay.
We no not at all diplomacy.
Not,
See,
no,
when
no.
you're identifying, your manas is jumping. For example, overloading of the like what should I say? The we are overloading with the digital this one, right? When
Hmm.
you understand, when you pick up your phone, what happens? We initially we think, okay, just for 10 minutes I will see my phone. But
Hmm.
afterwards, what happens? We keep on searching
Yeah.
this. We jump from one post to another, one post another.
Yes.
Is it not our manas think that it is that? See, when
Yes.
we want, when we go to restaurant, what happens? We are on diet. We want to eat healthy food, but when we
Yes.
when we look at that samosa or some chaat,
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
other stuff, what happens?
Yes. Yes.
Immediately our manas, jumps. It wants to have. Then our
Yes. Yes.
buddhi says, no, 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 you are in a diet. So if your buddhi is strong, like it is not
Yes. Yes.
overclouded with emotions and all, no, no, it's okay. One time I can avoid means it takes, okay, it grabs and eats. Otherwise, no, no, I'm self-disciplined. Let me not
Yes.
eat. That is what. All this is wherein the buddhi discrimination comes, right? Ahankara says, are giving. I am disciplined is one kind of thing you are giving a
Yes.
label to yourself. The other one is it's okay. It's okay. I deserve this because I worked so hard, or I
Yeah.
got this. I deserve this. It's okay. I can have this samosa. Nothing will
Yeah.
happen.
Yeah.
So our
Yes.
mind
Yes.
is lot of things. Understanding these things really helps us to,
Guide properly. Yeah.
yeah.
Thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Then if no one has any questions or sharing, we'll close this session. I thank you all for joining. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bhavani ma'am. Bhavna. Okay.
You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are, and all you do is a blessing to the world. You are the heart, you are the hands, you are the voice of spirit on earth, and who you are.
Thank you, Sai. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.